Ask yourself a question. What's the question? Man is made in God's image. Well, what did God have? He had a son. So if God is man and he made him, he also had to be a man and who had a son. So man had to have a son. So if man has a son, God has a son, God has a man's son, God has a grandson. Stage 2. 6 days for God, bringing man and a day of rest. 6 and 1. Man has a son and a day of rest, the birthday. God now has 2 days of rest. Man has 1 day of rest. Man's son has a son because they needed to be grandfather. So when father's son had a son, he became a grandfather. God became a great grandfather. 77 GG 2020. Now, when the great-grandson, when the great-grandson has a son, he sends the great-grandfather back to God. Bury him 6 feet down for 6 men, 2 feet up for the Beta Venus world, 2 arms by his side. So man is 6. God gets 1 day of rest. Then, that is the day of rest. They start on day 8. So in every scenario, even the chicken lays 6 eggs. On the 7th day it doesn't lay, and it lays again on the 8th day. Man rests and starts. So we don't start till day 3. Man 1. Man becomes grandson, becomes grandfather to son. 1 and 1. 1 day of rest for the man. 1 day of rest for the son of man. 1 day of rest for the great-grandson. 1, 1, and 1. 6, 6, 6 is 18. The hare, angel resident. 24 the day. 1, 1, and 1, and 4. 24 and 4. 168 hours in the week. 28 times 6. But they break it down into 7. Plus 168, the 7th gate. Add 1 to 15 through Mars. You get this one over here. When you get the dartboard, this will say 210. When you have 15 balls in the dartboard, you add on 5 more. The 5 more that you get will equal to 90. The first 15 added to 120. The next 5 numbers, okay, after 1 to 15, from 16 to 21, from P to U, right? From P to U, the plug-in, universal joint, universe. That is your 96 plus or minus from 0, 48 each way, 8 times 6, 868, both sides. The spirit comes in between. The 7th gate, we don't need 868. We need 6, 1, 6 because it's a 7th gate. 1 is on one side, 1 is on the other side. What happens now in a 10-day period of time? Okay, there should have been 240 hours. You're getting 6 days. Okay, of 168 hours. 20%. Time has been switched by 20%. We lost 4 hours. Okay, we lost a total of 4. You see, this is 24. We lost a day. Okay, 6 days times 4, 24 hours. We're losing 24 hours. Now, what is that calculation, 24 hours into 6 days? 20%. I stopped the video. Now I'm starting it again. Okay, what I was speaking about is that instead of having a 7-day week, right, man was having a 6-day week. We were running the same 28 cycle of the moon, but 28 hours will give us 6 days. 6 days, 28 hours, 168 hours in a week. The same week goes by, except we run it in 6 days. We have 10 minutes per hour, an extra 4 hours every single day, 240 minutes. This is where the Mayan schedule comes in. 18 cycles, 30. My cat's running all over the house. The Mayan calendar is 18 months of 2 weeks of 10 and 10 days, or it's 20 months of 2 weeks of 9 and 9 days. 18 days a month or 20 days a month. Okay, and just like the Jewish calendar shows, it's never the same, right? It's never the same. You got to go around the corner. A couple extra days here, a couple extra days here, go around the curve. The earth, what's up and what's down? How do you determine what's up and down? When you go around the corner, are we passing mountains? And then are they this angle over here this way and this angle over here this way? Shows us the only time it's really up is over here. Otherwise, we're on the mounds. Even if this is concave, even if we're going up concave from valleys, right? Fill up the mountains with water, Turn the whole planet over the other way. Let the water down the waterfall slowly. Let them rivers run. Turn the earth the other way. Fill up all that water one shot, and let all that water run time. One drop at a time. Imagine filling up the whole bath as fast as you could, but letting out one drop at a time. And building up that drop until there's enough to create a river that lasts a certain amount of time in a day. Bringing the weight over to the other side. 10 minutes. We now have 70-minute hours. 70 minutes, 1,680 minutes in a day. 1,680 minutes in a day, 1,680 times 2 days, 3,360, plus 1,680 in 3 days equals 5,040. But now instead of the next day, we're only going to bring 840 plus 840. By the way, that is Pluto with the 10 star, equals 5880. Okay, that's communication, and that's the connecting skies. It's 16 for a day, okay, and 8 for everything single night. It's like some kind of code, but it's telling us exactly. I connected the night, and I connected the night, but as you come in, the night starts to end. You run through the day because we see the sun shine and into night again, and then back into day again, and into night because we turn the world upside down. Or do you want to just do it this way? What's the difference? This way or a little bit on an angle? You ever notice where you have to flex forward to go forward? So man has a child. Now 13 days have passed. And then he becomes a grandfather, 20. And then he becomes a great-grandfather, 27. Now the next one, okay, after that would be 34. Now we have to understand it ends at 28. So we're ending on the day of rest because that's the cycle of the moon, the complete cycle. The birth comes in on the first day, the 29th. And by the way, this says Ahova right over here. This says G pi, the gateway, the cube, cycle to the moon, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4. But we all remember that it's one God. This is only one part. God has to be all of these. He has to be 3 of these, 84, and that brings you to Pluto. And then the numbers bring you to planets like Mars and Neptune. 8 by 4, 32 to gateway. 8 and 4 equals to 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is half. This says a quarter. The 14th day is a quarter. God 4, God 4, God 4. Veda Venus world, 2, 4. Venus, 2 and 2 equals 4. God 4. Even though it says 26, God 26. Okay, 2 and 6. Okay, God is the number 26. G and D is 11, 1 and 1 is 2, but God becomes God, and then he makes man in his image, so God has to be more valuable than man. God is 2 and 2 is 4. Man becomes 6, he's half of God. How much is half of 4? 2. 4 and 2 equals 6, that's half. 29th brings the birth. Does the month end on a Sunday, or does the month, excuse me, this would have been, excuse me, I should not have written it this way. Day 6 is a Friday. Notice the way it goes from 6 to 13, 7, 7, 7, right? 6, 7, 8, 7, 7, 7. Friday, Saturday, Sundays when we start. That's man's day 1. But really and truthfully, if man was like God, he wouldn't start here. He wouldn't start until he got all the way to the next week. He couldn't have life until he was born. The same as God came in, the electronic world. Man is born, we have to transfer the system. We have to build the system. God created man. Now the system that God created has to be recreated in man. But anyways, let's look at it this way. This is Mars, this is Venus, and this is Venus' birth. This is the cycle of Venus. This is the cycle of Alpha in Venus, 20, the 10-10 worlds. This is the first time this appears. This is a representation, okay, of 10 and 1 and 10 and 1. 21st, twins of 1. When we say 10, 10 is just a word. So now we have 28 days and 4 days for the link. We have 1, 2, and 3. And don't forget Roman numerals stops right here. After that, it's a split circumflex over the rainbow. 1, 2, 3 Roman numerals. 9, 18, 27. 27. Man, his child. He becomes a grandfather and a great-grandfather. The next number is 34. And if the weeks would end on 31, that would be day 3. If the week would end on 30, that would be day 2. If the week would end on 29, that would be day 1. The next day would day 1. 34 equals O-N-E, by the way. 7, 8, and 9, 24 equals 6, equals to the cat. 2, 4, 6 equals to the man. 624. The cat and the man, the day of man, 624. If it was 724, it'd be the gateway. 24, the cat. 724, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, or 18:6. What is 18:6? 18 hours with the lights on, 6 hours with the lights off. But 2 of those hours with the lights on, that's the Venus world plug. Take away 2 and put it on the other side. They're automatically off. You need to connect. Automatic Venus comes off from those 18. You are H-A-R, the hair, Ra. You take that 18 away, make it 16, you become the light. This is day 3, by the way, for man. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1. This is the only time it becomes 0, 1. And these 3 numbers are specific. Because when you say first, you end with ST. When you say second, you end with ND. When you say third, okay, you end with RD. Third. RDIR. Okay, third. And it brings in your birth, brings in life. Brings in F. 1 times 5, 1 plus 5. 3, 4, 5. 3 and 9 is 3. 5 and 7 is 3, 8 and 4 is 3. They're all 12, 12, 12. 3, 3, 3, 3. 3, 6, 6. So we have the day of creation. It's now a 70-minute day. I know I'm making it a long video. So if it's a 70-minute day, how much more is that over 60? See, for some reason I marked 20%. I forgot what that was about, right? But it's 240 minutes in a day, or add on 10%. I don't know why I marked 20%. You have to add on 10%. But if you only add on 10%, right? 10% onto the 24-hour day is 10% in hours. 2 hours and 40 minutes is only 10%. How do we get 10% out of 24 hours? It's 4 hours out of 24. 4 hours out of 24. 1 hour. 1 hour. 4 hours out of 24. 4 hours, 240 minutes. 10 minutes an hour. Yeah, that's what it is. So 10 minutes an hour has to be put on. So it's 70 minutes in a day. But there's more calculations to this. Okay? Because God made everything, right? Man doesn't have to recreate himself. So everything should have been done after day 6. Everything should have been done on day 5 after that. Okay? If everything should have been done on day 5 after that, so we should have had, right? We should have had 168 hours in 5 days. Right? But at the same time, we also have to understand that shouldn't even have to be 5 days. But it's 168 hours in 5 days. So let me figure this out. 168 divided by 5, which is not a good number, equals 33.6. And since I was building one thing with this number for 5 days, I now have to re-understand it, that this number will now represent, okay, the 2 sides, the X this way and this way, the crisscross through the I, creating that I, X marks the spot. This is 12 moons, my friend. 12 moons represented inside Saturn and Jupiter, because that's what the numbers say. Earth, Saturn, Jupiter. 3 and 3. 3 powers, 3. So what has to happen now is I still don't have those 168. So I'm going to have, right, in a 20-day period, right, I'm going to have 20 days I'm going to do this. 20 times, okay, 20 days, 20 days, listen to me, 20 days. So if you're not one of the righteous ones, you come to the next week. See, it's not a week here, right? God in the first week. So man born not in the first week. The first week that comes by is not even the Friday, because that's the day he showed up. His first week actually begins on the day of rest. This Friday over here, he came into the day. What part of the day? It's the day of man. Within the 16 hours, he came in. His first day is in the night, the Friday, Shabbos, into Saturday. 2021, 41, DNA, create big red. 34, week 1, week 2, week 1 ending, week 2 ending, week 3 ending, week 4 ending. 34th day, week 4. 4 times 7 is 28. We started on 6. Remember that. We lose the first 5 because God took them for himself. So we lose them. And we come to the end, we have 35 is Saturday. Okay, this says GUN under the gun. Now we run it down here, and we run a 5-day week of 168 hours, not counting any days of rest, no Saturday, no Sunday, 5 days. We now go to 20 days to make it calculable. We also talked about 12 moons, but 20 days, okay, will give me 840 hours. 4 parts, 4 fives, 840 hours. 840 hours is 35 days. 840 hours, 840 divided by 840 divided by 24 equals to 35. 35 days, 20 weeks. Excuse me, 1 week. 4 weeks is 20 days. 4 weeks is 20 days. Does it remind you of anything? 2 Mayan weeks, 10 days and 10 days. I have to do it this way. I have to compromise 168 hours in 5 days, and it's not calculatable because the 5 doesn't go into 8 without having 3 days over. So I've got to do it again and again and again to make it go away. I get 500, 340. DC, 345. 345, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we now have 35 days. 35 days is 28 for a cycle plus a quarter. We need the quarter because it took God to get to man, and it was at the first quarter because it becomes 06. We don't start till 6. All zeros equal 6. See 06? Ha ha ha. 35 to 1 when you fall flat on a number on roulette. This is the 5th week. 4 cycles done. That is 28 grams plus 7 grams. Calculable. 1 ounce is 32 plus 3. 1 ounce. 1 ounce. 16 is an ounce. 16 and 16 is 32. Now we have an ounce. We have a 1 1/2 and 1 1/2 on each side to make it 33 1/2 and 33 1/2. Why I did that, I shouldn't have done it that way, because that's the freezing point. 16 is the freezing. 16 and 16 is 32, the freezing point. There's 3 left over for creation. So there's a whole bunch of scenarios when God came down, right? And if I would run this one more, remember, first man comes. God becomes a father. God becomes a grandfather. God becomes a great-grandfather. Okay? Father, okay, becomes a grandfather. Father becomes a great-grandfather. Father dies. 34. Then the word 1, O-N-E, equals to 34. 3 times 4, 3 plus 4, artificial intelligence, A and I, and says the words, I am, I know, je suis in French. 35th day and 36 all connected over here. DEF, the Federation. 9 and 15 equals 9 and 6. 15 and 9. 9 and 15. 90 and 45. 9 times 15, if you'd like to go that way. 9, 15 is Mars, birth. 5 can be reversed. There's so many things we can do in this. So here, the next one you have 42. Okay, and that would be in the, don't forget, 1 cycle. We need to make more than 1 cycle. We have to go on each side of God. Or the 10 Commandments goes on each side of us and makes us 1. So we need 1 cycle to come into the first week. We need the first month. We need the second month. And we need the third month to close the cycle. Closing the cycle, 21st day, astrology, all because of this formation. And in the Hebrew holidays, there's 2 days on Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah that either it's a Tuesday or a Thursday, that in these holidays, it never happens on these days because of these expressions. And I didn't even start to say anything. Day 1, day 2, day 3. These are all day 1, day 2, day 3. So we get to day 3 for man. That's his creation, 6. Raphael, 6, 4, 9, 2. 6, 4, 9, 2. 5, 3, 8, 1. 4, 2, 7, 9. 6, 4, 7, 5. 7, 5, G and E, cycle inside the moon. The resting days. Start Sunday, 8, 6. Man starts 8 and 6. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4. Connecting to the 9 lives of the cat. He becomes 6 and 4. East-west rotation. Scion. He becomes 5 and 3. Electric company. And he becomes 4 and 2. Mars cat. Mars cat. Mars cat. Marquette. Marquette. Parquetry. Marquette. Parquetry. Marquette. Raphael, style of flooring. Thank you for watching.